Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritual Spotlight series. Today, I am joined by Ramona Galey. She's a vibrational mentor who helps law of attraction followers raise their vibration and attract, manifest all of their desires. Ramona, thank you so much for coming on the Spiritual Spotlight series. I'm so happy you're here.
Rachel, I'm so glad to be here. I'm excited for our conversation. Just from the little bit that we've connected so far, I know it's going to be hot.
It's gonna be hot. It's gonna be stuff. It's gonna be singing, guys. So, let me ask you this. We're gonna start here.
Okay.
So, your journey from nonprofit leadership to becoming a vibrational mentor is quite remarkable. Can you maybe share a pivotal moment or moments or experiences that led you to embrace this path of spiritual mentoring and channeling?
Absolutely. It was a very definitive moment. It was the
Boom.
moment. Yeah, it was like getting hit upside the head with a brick bat. It was when my partner, Betty, died. And up until that moment, I had no spiritual paradigm. And
Wow.
for that next week, I had no spiritual paradigm. And I was preparing to follow her. I don't know if this needs a trigger warning or anything,
Okay.
suicide thoughts
Yeah.
discussion, but there was no question in my mind that I was not staying on this earth without my only source of unconditional love. So I was going to leave, and I was just going to tidy up a few things first. My good friend had just left. She'd been there for the week after Betty had died, and she'd left, and I knew exactly how I was going to do it. I was composing the note in my head, and the phone rang. And it was Betty's best friend, Lordella. And she said, I just heard about Betty, and oh my gosh. And I was crying. I don't even know what I was saying. I was talking some sort of mental trash. And she said, wait, 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 wait. You've got to stop. You've got to stop thinking like that. And I was like, well, yeah, but I don't know how. I
Right.
was 55 years old. I'd been trying to control my thoughts for my entire life
Yeah.
unsuccessfully. And so she started to teach me right then and there. We took for about an hour. She sent me a whole bunch of CDs. She sent me to get some books. They were waiting for me at the library. They've never been at the library ever since. They're always checked out. I've checked many times that's been 9 years now. And they've never been there. They both of them were sitting there on the shelf for me that day when I went and got them. And I just started immersing myself in this new spiritual paradigm, which I was ready for, obviously, for the first time in my life, really ready for. And so I just believe that when we're ready, whatever we want comes. And until we're ready, there's no sense, gnashing your teeth about it. It just comes we're ready, when we're ready. That's what it boils down to.
Absolutely. And it's you had this, tragic event with your partner passing to really deciding that you didn't want to be here anymore, to having a phone call, to then changing your entire life around. Like
Yes.
that's just amazing. And I commend you for, making a decision to stay here to now embrace your spiritual path. Like that's very amazing.
Thank
And
you. I just to be
yeah,
really clear, I no longer see that as a tragic event. It was the
yeah,
greatest gift she ever gave me, and she gave me a
100%.
lot of huge, wonderful gifts. We were together 24 years, and I just, worshiped the ground she walked on. But that turned out to be the greatest gift she ever gave me. And I just think, I know it just all works out for good reasons, for really good reasons, not just, little reasons.
Oh, no, no, no. I will tell you, one of the things that I've learned in my path is that really traumatic events, are really rocket fuel for ascension. So
Yes.
there's something about it that it breaks you down and then it builds you up. And it's
Yes.
like, it's fascinating to see people who have gone through tragedy to then, whew, it's
Yes.
amazing. So
Yes.
I'm
I
like,
love
I'm
that.
having a moment. Gotta think about this. No, it's true. Like I've had a brother who passed from suicide, and that was like a catalyst. I've had like, it's interesting where we've had like catalysts of things that have happened in our lives that really
Yeah.
flipped us upside down. But
Yes.
like you said, it's really a blessing in disguise. And
Absolutely.
that's amazing that you've shifted your mindset with that.
Yes.
Perfect. So you channel guides and is it Oprah? Oh,
Oprah.
Oprah.
Yes.
Okay.
With
I was
no
like,
H. It's
I was
not
like,
Oprah
Oprah
Winfrey. Yep. Oprah.
who offers wisdom in alignment with Abraham Hicks teachings.
Right.
Can you describe maybe your process of channeling and how you connect with your guides?
Well, my process of channeling is I would say, the way I would call it is I kind of go into a trance, which means I
Yeah.
just go inside and really let go of everything.
Mhm.
And the knowing kind of comes over me. And usually I'm close my eyes for that. And my eyes were closed for the first, I'm going to say 6 months that I did this. And then I started opening my eyes, and now I open my eyes and I'm ready to go. And Oprah says greetings, and um, whoever's there on Oprah's side is
Mm.
determined by whoever's there on the human side and what they're summoning, what they're asking for.
Oh.
So Oprah is not a defined set, limit of, 3 entities or 10 consciences, or, it's universal wisdom, infinite intelligence, source, God, whatever you want to call it,
Yeah.
flowing through me, that I then interpret what they give me. Abraham calls it blocks of thought. I would say it's knowing, it's visions,
Mhm.
it's physical sensations. It's a lot of different things at different times, but whatever it is, then my job is to put it into words,
Wow.
because that's what the client wants. They've come to me to be able to talk to basically their own inner being. Oprah is famous for saying, somebody will say, wow, how did you know that? And Oprah will say, well, you told us, we told Ramona, and Ramona told you.
I love
It's
that.
like very simple to them, and we're going, whoa.
Wow.
Because on our physical plane, we get so caught up in the physicality of it all. We're
Yes.
very distracted by, I just bumped my shin on this chair, or, I'm really hungry, or I didn't get
Yeah.
much sleep last night. We're so caught up in the physicality of it, and they're above all of that, but participating too, and really enjoying and loving us. So that's how I do it.
I think that's really interesting though, that it's not just one being. It's
No.
like you said, it's infinite intelligence, it's source, it's however you identify, and it's
Yes.
really your divine self connecting with this divine self, and you're
Yes.
just relaying the information.
Yeah, and it's a microcosm of how everything works. In other words, when I really want something, the resources, how do you describe that? How do you define that? How big is that? How many of them are there? You can't say. The resources combine and collaborate and manifest for me and bring me what I want, for all of us, not just for
Yeah.
me, for everybody. When we want something, when we're asking, when we need, the resources bring it to us in love. And so it's the same thing when a client is asking. If a client is saying, I've never felt unconditional love, I feel unloved, I felt unloved my entire life, I just want to feel loved. And I can't tell you how many clients start there frequently,
Yeah.
and the love that just flows through me, it's like this huge ocean of love. When I first started, my physical vessel couldn't even hold it all. I'd be crying, and
Yeah.
gasping for breath, and trembling, and people are like, are you okay? And I'm
You're like,
like, yeah.
no, I'm not.
Why? Yeah, no, I am. I'm really great, actually, because all that love just kept healing things in me that I didn't even know were
Yes.
there, right?
Yes.
And so my vessel has definitely gotten bigger. And then, but if somebody is asking for, how can I have a client, and she keeps doing this, and I've tried this and this and this and this, what do I do? When you've got a really specific, almost you call that maybe technical, or
Hmm.
like really specific desire. I mean, it's not just a brain thing. It's a strong desire. I really want to help this person. How can I help her? And then that's a whole different,
Yeah.
kind of feeling. But it's still like whoever out there's got the answer. That's who answers. Like I don't have any control over who's being called. The client is doing the summoning.
Oh, that's amazing. And I would imagine every session that you have is different. Like, because
Totally
different
different.
beings are showing up and different energies are coming through. And
Yep. Even with the
it's,
same people. Yep.
yeah, of
Very
course.
different.
Yeah. Of course. I love that. That's amazing. Oh, I love it. I work with the Akashic records, and we bring through
Ah,
beings and you bring through energy, and I love to talk to someone else who experiences it, because it's just the tremendous amount of loving energy that just
yes.
piles through is so
Yes.
profound. It's
Yes.
like, oh, and it makes you realize we're not alone. And you brought up a very good point of you're a channel and you're a healer. When you're giving these sessions with your clients, you're also receiving healing. And I
Absolutely.
think
It's the
that's
best thing I've ever done for
like,
myself. People thank me, and I'm
woo!
like, no worries, my pleasure. I mean, it's
You're,
my honor to help people, just to be really clear. But I get so much benefit from it.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh, that's phenomenal. So I'm going to ask you this. The concept of raising vibrations is central to your work. For
Yeah.
those who may be new to this idea, can you maybe explain what it means and why it's important for personal growth and manifestation?
Okay, sure. So every emotional state has a vibration. I mean, everything has a vibration, but in this case, our emotional state. So if I'm really depressed or if I'm grieving, like I was when Betty first
Yeah.
died, I was being like bowled over, like to the point where I would actually physically end up on the floor sometimes sobbing, like I just bowled over literally like by a wave of grief. That had a very low vibration. From that place, with my entire body vibrating at that place, I can't see the sky. I can't see the sun. I can't see the stars. I can only see like right here. It's a low vibration. Then there's an emotional scale
Mm,
that Abraham and maybe before them, people set out. And so you can look and say, okay, well, I'm depressed. I'm here. I'm sad. I'm here. I'm angry. I'm here. But you can work your way up this scale, and the higher you go, the better it feels.
yeah.
And from this higher place, when I'm like, oh, I'm so appreciative, I'm so enjoying this, I feel so free, I feel so light. Now from here, I can see the sun, I can see the stars, I can see into infinity. All things seem much more possible to me from this really high vibration than it ever could be from the low vibration. It's kind of like, the question versus the answer, or the problem versus solution, but it's a lot more complicated than that because we're human, and so
Hmm.
we tend to have mixed vibrations all the time.
Yeah.
So I might be really happy about one thing and really pissed off at my husband or my brother or somebody, my somebody at the same time. So
You
I've
just
got a
brought up
mixed
a
vibration going.
really good point. Talk a little bit about that, the mixed vibrations.
Yeah, almost all of our vibrations are mixed. And
Yeah.
so we get mixed results because what we're vibrating is what we're attracting. That's the whole basic law of attraction,
Mhm.
right? So, but people think, well, that means all I have to do is say, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, and then money will just come to me magically. And sometimes it does, it can. But if I have a mixed vibration about money, I
Mhm.
want money, but I think it's dirty. I want money, but what will people think about me? They'll think I'm a criminal if I have it, or they'll be jealous, or, right? So if I've got a mixed vibration and then I'm sitting here saying something that I don't actually believe, like I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy. Well, my body and my mind and my vibration and my inner being and everybody's going, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. So there's those are just real blatant, like, extreme examples of mixed, but can be as simple as, I want to have some ice cream tonight, but I know it's not good for me. There's a
Yeah.
mix. It's a mix, and we're human, and so we're almost always mixed. So one of the things
Go ahead.
that we do is practice appreciation and practice these various, they're like actual physical exercises you can do that raise your vibration, and the vibration gets higher, it gets more consistent because it's never just exactly the same, right? So I'm going along and I stub my toe while I'm okay, I'm supposed, okay, get back into a high vibration, I meditate, whatever it takes. And, and then somebody cat calls at me and I'm like, oh, those guys, woo. So there's all this mix going on. But as we practice and practice and practice, the vibration gets higher. It gets more consistently high. So we get, fewer lows. The lows are higher. The highs are higher. It's more consistent, and it gets purer
Mm,
because we're starting to discern the mix, the
yes.
attachment, as we call it. So when we have a desire and we think, I really want this, but that attachment is a mixed vibration. So as we start to feel that vibration, we let that one go. And so now it's pure. And then we feel another one, we let that one go, and it's pure. So it's all kind of an infinite, you never get it done, you can't really get all the way to the top, it's just constant evolution. But the more you do it, the better you feel, the better results you get in your life, the more happy you are, the more healthy you are, the more wealthy you are, like everything just starts to work. So that's the approach we take.
That's amazing. And I've never really heard of mixed. I mean, it makes complete sense. with mixed vibrations and mixed frequencies. I love that. I'm like having a moment here. I'm like, guys,
Well,
I gotta hang up. I gotta do some work. So with your clients, I know that you do one-on-ones and you do group sessions.
right.
Can you tell me a little bit about that? And is this something that you focus on in those sessions?
Yes, absolutely. It's that's one of the cornerstones of everything Oprah ever talks about. So I started off with private sessions, and I just started off when I started doing it, it was like, oh wow, this is really cool. I had never thought I could do it. I didn't think I could. I heard Abraham say very early on about Esther Hicks, who receives Abraham, that the reason she was so good at it was because she was kind of like a blank slate. She didn't have any strong opinions. She was living life happily ever after. She was very happily married to a man who adored her, and they were wealthy, and she didn't have to work anymore. And so she was this kind of open vessel. And when they described that, I mean, of course, I was going through my whole grief thing, and I was
Right.
like, well, that, and I had a lot of opinions, strong opinions, political opinion. Like, I was like not a candidate, right? So I just let that go. So it was a big surprise to me, as big to me as it was to anybody else, I think, when I started doing it. And so I just started offering it to all the people that I knew that I thought, would understand what I was
Mm,
doing. And it just took off. I mean, it just took off. There was very quickly, not one single day went by that I wasn't doing it for somebody. And then I decided to do it in a more structured way. And then eventually I decided to do it as my work, as my calling. And well, I should say my calling called me into being a calling.
yes.
It's like
Yeah.
not any one day that I sat down and said, okay, I think I'm going to do this, because it was just so obvious. And so anyway, I worked with private clients for many years, and then it wasn't really that long ago that I started working with groups, and that has turned out to be just a huge eye opener for just amazing, because
Yeah.
as it turns out, private sessions are really great for some people, and group sessions are really great for other people.
Oh, yeah.
And getting those people into the right place is a big part of seeing just tremendous expansion. So I do both. And I've just been very honored to see just tremendous expansion. And if you want me to go through that, so the private sessions are really great for somebody who has already done a lot of this kind of work and is really fine tuning.
Mhm.
So far, it tends to be people who've got their own heart-based like coaching practice of some
Right.
sort, and they really want to refine their methods, maybe create a new methodology, learn how to teach it. I've had clients that have worked on those kinds of things, but they have a very big desire, like they feel themselves called to the national stage or the international
Yeah.
stage, and they're really fine tuning. They're highly focused and very driven, and they appreciate the privacy because they've already got a certain amount of visibility, and that's important to them. And
Yeah.
they just they schedule themselves whenever they want to, and they we've had tremendous results from that. Then the coaching is the group coaching is really great for anybody who's still kind of a little bit confused about how it all
Yeah.
works, anywhere from a total beginner to, I would say, intermediate to advanced to intermediate practitioner
Mhm.
of personal development, I guess you'd say, in the overall category.
Yeah.
But just really want, it's people with big desires who want more
Of
for their
course.
life, and that you can feel, wow, this is not going the right way, and I can feel that it could be going the right way. And that's the person that comes into my group coaching. Yeah.
I think I love the way that you just described the one-on-one and the group coaching, and I both sound phenomenal. And I just like, oh, I'm
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm even getting more excited because I'm like, because you're right that you have this inner knowing inside of you that you know that you're meant for something different and something
Yes.
bigger, and it's a driving force that pushes you and pushes you and pushes you. And
Yes.
I love that you're hitting on that because you feel it inside of you, and some people can't tap into it just because maybe they're new to it, and that's fine. But it's
Yeah.
very much this like inkling or this knowing, like, is this it? No.
Well, and think about it. We're all born knowing. We're all
Then we
born
forget.
knowing that we're sovereign and that we're free, and that the purpose of life is joy. We were born giggling and
Yeah.
chuckling, and think of babies and that incredible laughter, that
Oh,
free
so
laughter that
true.
babies have. So we know that we are the center of the universe. And then
Yeah.
our parents start saying, what do you think? You're the center of the universe? And this kind of thing. Sit down, shut up, walk in a straight line, don't trust, don't feel, all these things, that these messages we get. And so we start to forget,
Mm,
but it's still there. And so when
100%.
we feel the greatness within us, we're not delusional. We're not making it up. We're feeling something that's true.
Yeah.
So now all
Yes.
we need is a chance to become it again, to remember, to step into it. So helping people remember is basically my job.
I love that. And the fact that you can go to you as a mentor to say, let me help you remember this. Like,
Yes.
like you said, a lot of people come to you that have never felt unconditional love, never felt
Yeah.
love. Like, that's
Um,
so sad.
I mean, it's one of the, I mean, it's the main reason why I do what I do, because when I first started, when I got off the phone with Lordella and I started studying and I started listening to Abraham Hicks and I went to their workshops, I went on all their cruises. And I mean, I really jumped into the whole thing. I mean,
I love this.
I immersed myself and I was
I
like
love this.
studying it 8 hours a day. I was so like, well, first of all, my life depended on it and I knew
Yeah.
that. But second of all, it just felt so good.
Yeah.
I would have given just about anything to be able to work one-on-one with somebody like directly who actually knew and could role model, because I knew how important it is. I used to be a classical trumpet player.
Mm,
I used to take private lessons at the drop of a hat. If I had some technical thing or some audition coming up and I needed a little extra help, I would go find somebody who was really good at that and
yes.
pay them to work with me, to teach me.
100%.
And part of that was just sitting next to them and listening and feeling them do it, as they demonstrate. And so frequently after somebody demonstrated something, all of a sudden I could do it when before I couldn't do it. So I would have given anything to be able to work with somebody. I even wrote to Esther Hicks and said, hey, can I come work for you? I just thought if I could just be in her, sphere of influence, that I
Right.
would pick it up. And she didn't answer, by the way. Which is
Rude.
okay.
Just kidding.
I
Just
love
kidding.
Esther Hicks. She saved my life. I'm just teasing. So, but I would have given anything to work directly with somebody personally. And so that's why I'm here,
Yeah.
because I want to be here for the person who's ready for that kind of support and that kind of encouragement.
It's so important because I am like you. I have definitely in my spiritual journey, I know that I started with Abraham Hicks myself and like mindset training and all of that. And yeah, I started Abraham Hicks and I listen
Cool.
to CDs in my car.
That's excellent. So do
Law of
I.
attraction. So
So do I. I've got 10 of them in my car right now.
I love this. And no, I started there and I'm like you, like I wish that I had a mentor that I could just ask questions because it's so
Yes.
people are, oh, just use the law of attraction. Well, how? Well,
Yes.
you put it out to the universe. Okay, and like it's just you need to not hold it tight. Okay, and like it's like I need
Yes.
the steps from A to Z to
Yeah.
like really understand it because we're humans, and we
Right.
need to understand what it is we're trying to do.
Right.
It's very simple to be like, yeah, and some people will grasp it right away, but I know for me, I'm like, no, Ramona, give me the book and I will go through it.
Well, but even a book. So I had books, I have all of Abraham's books
Yeah,
and I
okay,
had
no,
their
you're
video
right.
series and the whole bit. But here's the thing about any set of instructions, any list of, like recipes or any even general guidelines on how this would feel or how you would do
Yeah.
it. It's so individual. What I understand today is different from what I understand tomorrow. And
Mm,
I can only absorb and understand what I'm ready to understand.
yeah.
And so the thing about a mentor who really gets it, who can actually read your vibration and
Yes.
give you some ideas that are particular to you right now, next week, and we meet twice a week for this very reason, because getting momentum going
Mm,
is like the most important thing, getting
yeah.
the momentum going. And so twice a week we bask in unconditional love, and everybody gets a chance to ask the same issue that I talked about last week. This is where I am with it now. And the
Nice.
answer's always different. Now try
Right.
this, now try that. It's like true mentoring. Instead of just following somebody else's
Guidebook.
listed,
Yeah.
the guidebook that doesn't apply, because it's almost like trying to read a guidebook for one city when you're in another city. They're similar, but they're not the same.
It reminds me, and this is really off topic, but it reminds me
Cool.
of like internet marketing, like on Instagram. If you do X, Y, and Z, you'll get a million
Uh,
followers. It's like you do that and you're like, but I have zero.
Yeah.
Like, you're right.
Yeah.
And I like that. And I like that you do bring up the thing about momentum, and it's really important. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, because so many people that I talk to, they meditate every day, and they wonder why they're not getting the results they want. And first of all, a lot of people think that meditation has to be sitting down, in this, the lotus position and
Mhm.
om, and that kind of a thing. And a lot of people, that just really doesn't work for. And at different times in different, in the same person's life, there's a vibration to the universe that's buzzing, right? And when you
Yeah.
tap into it and then try to sit still, you're kind of fighting yourself, because when you get to the point where you can feel that vibration, it's calling. You want to
Mm-hmm.
move. Your body wants to respond. So we work a lot about moving meditations, and it's the same thing when you meditate in the morning and then get up and then answer the phone, and it's somebody who's complaining about something, and you listen to them, or you go to work and your coworkers are all, political activists, or you get on YouTube or you get on Facebook and everybody there's criticizing, complaining about the president or whatever it is.
Yeah.
You've lost the momentum that you started in your meditation, even if you're doing a
Yes.
great moving meditation. So then you come back to it again tomorrow, or maybe you try to come back to it later that day and you think, well, I'm just going to take a nap. Abraham says take a nap, and so that'll reset my alignment. Okay, great. I take a nap. Then I wake up and something happens. We're on the physical plane. Something always happens. You stub your toe, the kids are late coming home from school, the spouse forgot the milk or whatever it is,
Whatever. Yeah.
and
There's
you're
always
down that
something.
rabbit hole again.
Mm-hmm.
So gaining the momentum, it's like a train. The train starts, it goes right there. You could stop it, turn off the switch. It has gone maybe an inch. You've stopped it, even though it's this powerful
Yeah.
train. But if you let it get going, and it's going down the tracks and it's 18 miles an hour, whatever it is,
Yeah.
try to stop that train. You cannot.
Yeah. No. Oh,
It
I
takes
love
an act of
this.
Congress to stop that train. So you want to be that train. You want unconditional love to be that train in your life. You want your alignment, your high vibration to be that train in your life. You want it going so strong. You want to feed it and feed it and feed it and feed it and feed it until it's going so strong that a car wreck, or, the death of a spouse, the, amputation, like everything you could possibly think of, means nothing.
Yeah.
It
I love
has
it.
no impact on you. And so, and those things don't tend to happen when we've got all this great positive momentum. But even if they do, it can't stop you.
Right.
And when you feel like that, you feel unstoppable. That's a good feeling.
It's an amazing feeling.
Yes, yes, it is.
So I have before I ask you the last question, I would like for you to talk to me about your book, From Lonely to Fearless. Can you tell the
Okay.
listeners about it?
Okay, well, as we're speaking today, it's brand new. It's in its first draft in production, and so we're going to do some final revisions to it, and then it'll be out probably in a week or two. And I'm very excited about it. It's my first book, and it just flowed out of me. I came home. I had gone on a photo safari, which means I left everything behind for 3 weeks. I hardly even had any internet connection. I was like way off of the the internet highway and all that. I didn't have any phone or text capability, anything. So I came home with this kind of blank slate, and I knew that I was coming home that way. So I'd set my intention. I'm only going to pick up things that really speak to me. I'm going to
Mm.
leave everything from my previous life. Just let it lay there. Just let it fall away. And so I came home with this like immense space, and this book just flowed right out of me. I wrote it in about 2.5 weeks. And it is all about, so I chose loneliness. There's a lot of things I could have called the from side. And I have more books in me.
Of
I've
course.
realized since then I actually have a series of books,
I
and by
love
the
it.
time they hear this, when I have my second book, at least in progress. But it can be from almost anything. But I chose loneliness because I think it's the thing that we can all really identify with.
Yes.
We've all felt some form of loneliness at some
Yes.
time or another, and loneliness is just disconnection with ourself,
Mm.
which means disconnection with source,
Mm.
disconnected from source, because who I truly am is is love, and source is love. And so when I'm disconnected from love, and everybody tells me, oh, just get a hobby, oh, just join a church, oh, just join a club, oh, just try harder, reach out to people, they're missing the boat. When I go to a party and there's a bunch of people standing around doing small talk, or whatever they're doing, and I feel alone, even though I'm surrounded by people, even people that I know and love, that's disconnection. And we feel it as loneliness. And I think it's really important for all of us to stop looking for love in all the wrong places and start looking for love in the right place, which is right here in our heart, which
Yeah.
is where we're connected to God, to source, to ourselves. And so the whole book is basically a treatise on how to do that, specific exercises and discussions of all the different topics. And I start with a kind of a mainstream look at loneliness and then move it all into the
Yeah.
vibrational realm. And I'm very excited about it. So
That is amazing. And if anyone wants to work with you, the best place to go to is to your website.
yes, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I put together a special, I think I sent it to you.
Yes, the private
There's a link that
invitation.
yes, the private
Yes.
invitation. If any of you, this is not for the general public, so
Okay.
please, just for your listeners, if they want to talk to me directly about what they've heard, and if they're interested in working with me, I'd be glad to answer one or two questions. It's a short, just a 20-minute conversation,
Yeah.
but I've sent you the link that they can sign up to do that. And I really want to be able to help people, first of all, if they've just got one or two questions, and also just to see where they are in their journey and maybe give them just one or two pointers on where to move from there. Because I've worked with a lot of people now, and I have a good feel for it. I won't call in Oprah during just a 20-minute
Yeah,
session,
yeah, of course.
but just me. If you want it, come
I
get
love it.
it.
That is so nice. That is so nice. So let
You're
me
very
ask you
welcome.
this. Our final question. What advice or insights do you have to help someone right now maybe release a limitation and manifest their desire?
Okay, here's the number one thing: do whatever it takes to feel good. We're taught to sacrifice, to defer, to delay, and none of that's good for us. If you will focus on what I call blisscipline instead of discipline, which means that blisscipline is defined as the commitment to focus only on that which feels good. If you will do that for just a day or two, even remotely consistently, you will start feeling better. You might start feeling better in 5 minutes. If you can pick up, let's say, this glass of water and say, I love this glass of water. I'm going to drink this glass of water just because I can, and because it tastes good, and because it feels good. Now I'm not thinking about whatever it was I was thinking about. Now I'm right here, right now in my body. So as long as I do whatever it takes to feel good, even if I am in that really bottom level of grief, I can find it's effectively from there. It's pretty easy to find something
Yeah.
that feels better, right? So wherever you are on that vibrational scale, do whatever it takes to feel better, and then do whatever it takes to feel even better, and then do whatever it takes to feel even better.
Guys, you're hearing the train.
Yes. Yes, the train.
Well,
That I love
Ramona,
it.
thank you so, so much for going on the Spiritual Spotlight series. It really was a pleasure to speak with you today.
Rachel, thank you so much. I've had a wonderful time. Thank you.